Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. This is a B2 level ESL lesson. Today we're going to be looking at some grammar. We're going to be learning the future perfect simple and the future perfect continuous to talk about future predictions. Alright, so they want you to try to make some logical sentences starting with the phrase by next year. And you can use the pictures. You can pause a moment, try that on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. Well, we could say by next year, Elliot will have learned to walk. By next year, Vanessa will have started university. By next year, Tom will have retired. And by next year, Gina will have finished her cooking course. Ecology is the study of how living things interact with each other. For example, there are relationships between all the animals and plants in a forest. Insects live on a tree, birds that live in the tree eat the insects, bird droppings fall to the forest floor, and eventually provide food for the trees. An ecosystem is an environment where there are strong relationships between the living things that live in that environment. Today, scientists study ecosystems closely to protect the environment. Humans have caused many problems in different ecosystems. If we remove an animal or plant from an ecosystem, this can cause problems for other species in the ecosystem. Unfortunately, humans have damaged many ecosystems. Although the damage is not intentional, we've made it difficult for other species to survive. This damage also occurs in many cases where humans introduce a new species into an ecosystem. So think about the region you live in and how have humans made it difficult for other species to live. And you can put your responses in the comments to generate some conversation. So Kristen Bergman is a conservation biologist. You can pause the video and read on your own, or you can follow along as I read and then answer the questions. So Kristen has been involved in ecological research for a long time and has worked in many far-flung corners of the world. By this time next year, I will have spent 20 years working with bats, she says. Bats are a key part of our fragile ecosystem, and the research Kristen does helps to improve our understanding of the role bats play. Many species of bats are either endangered or vulnerable. Loss of habitat is a major threat, and irresponsible ecotourism has also started to have an impact on their welfare. So which adjective means remote? Well, that would be far-flung. What adjective means can be broken or damaged easily? That would be fragile. What is the difference between endangered and vulnerable? Well, I think endangered means that it's just one step away from becoming extinct. Vulnerable, they're not quite endangered yet, but they could be if nothing changes. Threat often relates to the future. What does major threat mean in this text? So let's see where it says. So loss of habitat is a major threat. So that's one of the major causes or potential causes for bats to become extinct. And which words means the happiness and safety of someone? That would be welfare. So let's take a look at Kristen's words. So by this time next year, I will have spent 20 years working with bats. So here we have now, and this time next year, in the future, she will have spent 20 years up until that point working with bats. So when we talk about something that we expect to occur before a specific time in the future, we use the future perfect tense. So these are examples of the future perfect simple. I will have completed my degree by the end of next year. The temperature will have risen considerably by the end of the century, and unfortunately we won't have finished the report by tomorrow. So you can usually see that you can see that we usually use the future perfect with the preposition by. Alright, so now form the future perfect simple with will plus have plus the past participle to complete the sentences. You can pause the video, try that on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. So the train will have departed by the time you arrive. By this time tomorrow, we will have taken our final exam, and school will be finished for the year. I'm sorry, but we won't have completed the report by the end of the week. By 2100, many species of animals will have gone extinct. I'm sure Joan will have returned your money by the end of this month. And by the end of this year, we will have read 10 novels in English. You can come after 7 p.m. because we will have eaten dinner by then. Alright, so now read the next part of the text and answer the questions. You can pause the video and read on your own, or you can follow along as I read. Kristen usually spends about 6 months of the year doing field work. At the moment, she's stuck in the office, but in a few weeks, she will be leaving on her next adventure. This time next month, I'll be sitting outside a cave and waiting for the sunset, she laughs. The bats she will be studying are located in an isolated area, which is not accessible by road. This means that Kristen and her research team will be hiking for a couple of hours a day through dense forests and over rugged terrain. We don't want to disturb the bats any more than we have to, so we won't be camping nearby, she says. The most challenging part is not the distance, it's the fact that the backpacks we will be carrying weigh a ton. So which words show that Kristen will be working in an area that will be difficult to get to? So isolated and not accessible. Okay, in the text there are 6 examples of the future continuous. Can you find them? So she will be leaving. That's one. Will be studying. Will be hiking. Won't be camping. Will be carrying. So that's 6. I'll probably be sitting. So those were the 6. So form the future continuous with will plus be plus a verb ending in ing. When we talk about events that are already planned, we can use the future continuous. I will be traveling to Spain next year. We will be getting up at 3 a.m. tomorrow to catch the plane. Melissa will be taking a cooking class in May next year. We use the future continuous for an activity that will be in process at a point in the future. We'll be eating at 5 p.m., so make sure you arrive earlier. Please don't call me after 9 p.m. because the baby will be sleeping. Now read the final part of the text and answer the questions. We'll be working on this project for 6 months. By the end of our time here, we hope that we will have collected a lot of useful data. and we hope that we will have learned a lot more about this species of bat. If we can do that, we will have achieved our objectives. So find an example of the future continuous and 3 examples of the future perfect simple. So will be working is future continuous. Will have collected is future perfect. Will have learned is also future perfect. And will have achieved future perfect. Now complete the exercises with the future perfect simple or the future continuous. Will the action be completed at a specific point in the future, or will it be in progress? You can pause the video, try these on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. So I will be working at 5 p.m. tomorrow. I can meet you at 6 p.m. The race starts at 10 a.m., so I will have finished it by 1 p.m. at the latest. Hurry up, if we don't leave soon, the train will have left by the time we get to the station. This month we will be traveling through Italy and Croatia. I will be driving all evening because it will take at least 10 hours to get back to Toronto by car. I'm sure that she will have completed her studies by the end of next year. Next week, he starts work at 4 a.m. every day, so he will be getting up at 2:30 a.m. each morning. Right, so now take a moment. You can pause the video and complete the text with the future perfect simple or future continuous. And then when you're ready, restart the video and listen to check your answers.
So let me get this straight. You'll be flying out next week? You'll be living in the middle of nowhere? And you'll be studying bats?
Exactly! That's it! Isn't it an amazing opportunity?
Well,
I'll be working with a world-famous bat biologist. The idea is that by the end of the project, we will have collected a lot of useful data, and we will have learned a lot about these bats.
Alright, so now listen to more of the conversation and complete the text. We have one vocabulary note here. If you put someone up in or at a place, you provide accommodation for that person.
what exactly will you be doing every day?
Well, we'll be sleeping most of the day.
Like the bats?
Right. But we'll be checking out the bat's habitat, studying the impact human activity is having on their environment, that kind of thing. By the end of the project, we hope that we will have built a clearer picture of their ecosystem.
Okay. And will they be putting you up in a hotel?
Well, not a hotel exactly. I'll be staying at a camp with the rest of the team. It'll be pretty rustic, but we'll have the basics.
Alright, right, so now listen to the end of the conversation. And which of these things do Kristen and Sam mention?
How long will you be living there?
6 months.
6 months? I don't think I could do that.
Well, it's not for everyone, that's for sure. You need to be quite adventurous, I guess, and independent. It helps if you're good at solving problems, too.
Right.
To be honest, I think we will all have had enough by the end of the project. We won't have had a hot shower or a home-cooked meal for 6 months.
And what about keeping in touch? Will you have Wi-Fi?
Wi-Fi? No. We'll be living in an isolated area, remember?
You've given me an idea.
What's that?
Well, my sister is addicted to social media. Perhaps I should send her to bat camp for 6 months.
Okay, so they mentioned being adventurous and independent, a hot shower, a home-cooked meal, keeping in touch with people, and social media. Alright, so what will they be doing tonight? So make some sentences using the images and the timeline. And you can put your sentences in the comments if you would like some feedback. Alright, so now answer these questions about yourself and use the images to help you, or just use your imagination. And again, you can put your answers in the comments. So what will you be doing on Saturday morning? What will you be doing over the summer? What will you be doing tonight? And what will you be doing at 8 a.m. tomorrow? Now make some sentences using the images and the timelines. Again, you can put these in the comments. And what will you have done? Make some sentences about your future. And here's some examples. By 2033, I will have graduated, and I will have bought my first house by 2030. And that brings us to the end of today's video. Please like, subscribe, share, leave comments, participate in the comments, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.